Good morning, all. Welcome to State of the Market. Everybody that's here today, you're going to be happy you were here. You're going to learn something. You're going to see how I'm going to hedge. Going to explain what even a hedge is. Talk about what special situations are because they're a little different. And yeah, that's what we're going to do. And also let's talk about the week's events because that itself is a special situation. I'm Andrew Avenazzi, Director of Education, OptionPit.com, trading options for 35 years. As a professional. Floor trader for 15 years and now with Market Option Pit for the last 14-year anniversary coming up October 1st. All right. Also, Lithium Americas. Speaking of special situations, we got a little bit of a pop. My compadre, Frank Gregory, hitting another one. I can't believe how many great stocks he has picked. I just like, it kind of blows me away how good he is at all this. And I have to do this thing here. I got to add the stage. Again, like we said, Option Pit, we do all the trades we recommend. So here, Lithium Americas long 1,000 shares today. A nice extra $2,500 or so, $3,000. Go me! Again, special situations trade from Frank. Lithium, Trump, critical mineral. Rawhide, thumbs down. Why so sad? Why so sad? Why so sad? Anyway, let's talk about special situations. Also, Mark in Alpha AI, the squeeze was on. The squeeze was on. And in special situations, critical mineral. Two worlds colliding. So, good way to start the day for all my subscribers. Bing, bang, boom. Now, let's today talk about what a special situation is first, because it's coming, right? It's coming for us. So the way I describe it, if you in our OP University, is a special situation is when the model input for Black-Scholes is broken. So if you're in here, say, I know what Black-Scholes is. I know what the option model is. If you weren't a market maker for most of your young life, you might not know. Leisha was, Mark was, Hans was. Doug knows what Black-Scholes is because he's kind of an engineering geek anyway, so he would know what it is. But what happens is the model has assumptions like climate models, COVID models, every model around has assumptions. So at Option Pit, what we try to do, or what we do is when that model appears to be broken, looks broken, when something is going on that is broken, we want to let our subscribers know. And we started special situations for that reason. All right. So in all of our services, to some degree, when it's happening, we'll talk about it. But a special situation is when your model input is broken. Essentially, the assumptions, like Black-Scholes assumes that stocks go up every year. Did you know that? Did you know the option model assumes stocks go up every year? Calls are supposed to be worth more than puts, equidistant from the strike in Black-Scholes. So how do you adjust for that? Skew. Skew pushes puts up and calls down, even though historically that's not how it works. But these are all, so basically what's happening is forces outside of Black-Scholes assumptions are going to move option prices. And what this does is it creates a special situation for us or for traders who are educated in understanding how this is going to change the model assumption. So things, right? So time, we're going to talk about time today. Oh, and there's questions in here. If anybody has sold your LAC, I have not sold it. And to be honest, I am tired of selling Frank's picks. I'm just tired. I don't sell any more of the stocks he recommends anymore. I'm done. I have too much grumpiness when they go up higher, so I'm just going to hold them and whatever. Anyway, too many stocks. So time, right? The time assumption is what? Every day goes by and we should be getting closer to expiration. However, the market makers can mess that up. An event can mess up the timing, right? Assuming a normal stock price distribution, it doesn't always work like that. So we have skew, right? So the things that mess up the model could be skew. And here, what messes up time? An event. What messes up volatility? An event. Also, we don't know it. Okay, event, we don't know it. Volatility assumptions totally mess things up. What messes up a strike? A stock split. Right, and options act differently. Around different strikes. And finally here, cost of carry, which Mark quite successfully has built Alpha AI around. Short squeezes. Dividend changes. Okay, corporate actions. Now, why do we care about these events? Okay, why do we care about these events? Because what it does is it gives us opportunities for options to move faster. So if you're an option buyer, you want options that can move faster. So for an instance, how does Leisha use volatility in a small account challenge, right? She's looking for options relatively low priced at a low vol into a stock that looks like it's going to take off. That way, that call can move faster, which is what you want. So there are lots of ways to take advantage of special situations. It takes a little education here at Option Pit. We're happy to do that. But this is just a sample, right? This is a sample of how this works, right? What we don't want is you don't want to walk into a buzzsaw thinking something is going to happen, but since there is a special situation underway, it tends to lock the markets up. It locks stocks up. It locks the options up. Things don't appear to be correct. Okay, another cost to carry example would be VIX, right? VIX options, trading off the future. Okay, that's an example where you want to understand that mechanism in order to trade the product, so you don't do things that are gonna bite you in the end. So these are all things that make a special situation. Right now, I believe we are in the event stage, right? And these could be micro situations, meaning they're only going to happen for a few days and then they're going to go away. So right now, what's going on now, right? What is this going to do for me now? Okay. Have you noticed what moves the market lately, right? Interest rates, the deficit, These are inflation. These are the big picture items. Mark mentioned, okay, the Fed cuts, the Russell's going to outperform, and it has. More on that later at the end of the show. But these things matter because they move stocks, they move options. And if you're trading, you want to look for the options and stocks that are going to move. When we wait for an event, is there a lot moving? LAC and anything the Trump administration likes is an exception. MP, another Frank stock, up, 100% or something, gain on that. But, right, the administration loves certain stocks. Not normal, okay? All of a sudden, stocks that are kind of sitting around, boom, get this huge injection. Events will change how a stock performs, 100%. How the market is going to view those stocks, those indexes. So right now, basically stocks haven't moved all week. We had, a 0.5% down day yesterday. And as I look today, we're down 0.02% SPX. Nothing. Why are we down nothing? Because traders are waiting. Traders are waiting. Options really aren't decaying. Here's another thing. Time. Traders, and that means market makers, what I used to be, right? And this is a trick we used. Traders stop time by increasing volatility. Right? So, as a floor trader, quote operator is there. I tell the quote operator, take vol up 2 points. Instant time. I could do it whenever I wanted. Take it down 2 points. Take it down 5 points. Now that's all done automatically. Although traders can change their systems, but things are so sensitive now. So unbelievably sensitive. Rawhide saying that doesn't seem fair to the retail trader. Of course it's not fair. Do you think I'm down there making markets to be fair? What's for all my students, what's my saying when we trade options? What's my saying when we trade options? If it's fair, we don't care. We are looking for edge. We are not looking for fair. Join our services and try to figure it out. We don't care about fair. You got to learn what fair is, what edge is. You can do it. We do it every day. But those options are moving, right? They're increasing volatility because of demand, right? Because every day that goes by, those options are going to drop in value. Every day that goes by, remember, time ticks along. So those options are going to keep going down in value and value and value, except the event is still going to be there, Rawhide. So what's fair? If you were making markets, do you think you want to just sell all those options for nothing just because time is ticking away? No. You have to change the input assumptions. The input assumptions are no longer fair. Right? They are it's not that they're not fair, but they're no longer valid. You can't assume one day is the same as the next. You can't assume one day is the same as the next when you're going to have a PCE number that comes out. And if it comes out hot, what do you think is going to happen to stocks if the PCE number comes out hot and inflation is way higher than everybody expects just after the Fed cut? So today we're moving less than 1/10 of a We could be down maybe 2-3% on a really bad number, total gap. Because the market right now wants lower interest rates. The market wants inflation lower. Okay. So if it's too hot, stocks are going to get hurt. Now, here's the problem. Okay. Well, here's another indicator. Gold, right? Gold continues to rally. Now, I don't know about you, but I've been around, well, a while. I actually remember the late 1980 when gold was a runaway. Silver was a runaway when inflation was a total runaway, right? Silver prices, the Hunt brothers cornering the silver market, gold prices insane. And then the Fed jacked up interest rates, and interest rates on treasury bonds went from like 15%, if you can believe it, down to, eventually down to nothing in 2020. But that was a 40-year drop, 45-year drop in interest rates. And I think we hit the bottom, and we're going to be up here in the 4 or 5% range for a while. So gold again is signaling runaway inflation. So you're going to need something to counteract that. Again, this is more making Friday a major event. Friday is going to be a major event, whether we like it or not. Now, if the number is benign, right, meaning kind of normal, little less than expected, who knows what's coming out of the the BLS anymore, the Bureau of Labor and Statistics. Who knows? But if it's a little light, we could snap rally there. Okay. Now, one of the mentors, teachers, gurus, whatever, Hans, he has been wild. Check out income, Hans's Power Income, or I can never remember all the names. His income strategy, but it's essentially been long AI stocks. The thing is, I don't want to sell any stocks. I like holding stocks like LAC. Boom, pop. Okay. The traders, what the problem traders have right now is they want to be long because of AI growth, because of the oracles popping. Okay. Because of thank you, turbo income. Yeah. Thanks, Vicky. But stocks are rolling. So you don't want to sell them. You want to be long. And it's not that you're like afraid to be long, but you also see these are real issues. Inflation is a real issue if it pops back up, because the Fed will turn around. Okay. Government spending could be a real issue. They have a budget bill they have to pass. Okay. They passed one big, beautiful spending bill, but they didn't appropriate the money for it. So we watched all of this go on for 6 months, and they didn't do the appropriations for the bill, which they still got to fight over now. Okay. Again, I just heard this from Frank. Like, I can't even believe this. Frank, by the way, is my compadre in capital gains. He's our Washington insider guy who's actually at a drone conference right now. But they could blow the spending up again. How is the market going to see if the government has runaway spending again? Again, from a market point of view, we now have 3 or 4 days where this could be a real issue. But then that special situation will be gone. Right. But we might start the next sell-off. or, you know, or the government does what it's supposed to do. Who knows? Again, but these are the questions that are keeping VIX elevated and the market flat. Hopefully you all understand that. Why is VIX in 16 instead of 13 or 14? Because we're waiting for this news. We're waiting for the PCE, waiting for the government. That's what I tell my students. The more we wait for these numbers, the more the government is too involved. So right now, if you want to stay long through all this, but you know, you're a little nervous. Right? I don't want to sell my stocks. I don't want to sell my stocks that are AI stocks. I don't want to sell my chip stocks. I don't want to sell my dividend paying stocks. So what do? Okay. You hedge. Vicky just said a hedge could be what was that definition up there? I thought that was pretty funny. It's a shrub. Okay. It's not a shrub. It's a shrub, or it's a financial instrument that should move the other way, right? With an adverse move. Warren is saying buy SQQQ calls. Yeah, how much do we pay Congress and they don't pass a budget and they can't make a budget? Because we can't get them out of office. None of them. Anyway, these issues, like we can sit and go in the weeds with the politics, but it's not going to help us very much. What we really want to know is what's an easy way, okay, government spending, okay, the fact that rates could spike is a real problem. And I'll tell you the last time it was an issue. Take a look at this. So we're going to pull up VIX here. And we're going to look at a year like the last year. Okay. And I want you all to see this. You see this here? Everything was kind of going along. The election was over. Doge was going to happen. You know, there was no JFK or RFK Jr. was going to be the, save us with Maha. Everything, like the market was going good. Everything was happy. That was the lowest VIX has been. Hasn't been that low since, by the way. 12 to 13 handle. Everything is cool. And then all of a sudden, in December, right going into the holiday, VIX goes from, we're starting to get a little uptick there, a little squeamish. Again, interest rate issues, inflation. Are they going to have to start raising again? And a lot of short vol traders got caught and shot VIX up. I think that's the biggest one-day percentage gain, in the name. I think we were up 10 points. It was actually weekly profit cycle. It was a great day. Great day. However, again, this surprise event can happen again. Now, VIX does what it does. It rallied. Everybody looked, okay, it might not be as bad as we think. And then VIX went right back down again. But the opportunity was there to create a trade. Now, here we are here. We have had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days of increasing volatility for no reason, right? Markets at all-time highs. So remember, in general, market up, volatility down, right? Covered that yesterday in Rip Zone as to why that is. I actually put that out in our my market action piece yesterday. It should be there somewhere if you want to read it. But the easiest thing I could say is you want the cheap, easy hedge. Cheap, easy hedge if you want to catch a spiky spike like this, because it doesn't take much to ignite VIX to the mid 20s, low 30s. Doesn't take much when it comes to inflation, which is what happened the last time, right? When Trump did the tariff thing, everybody thought world trade was going to stop. That's what traders were worried about. There's going to be tariffs coming back. Like all of a sudden trade just stops like Smoot-Hawley. Didn't happen. Okay. It has not happened yet. Turns out the Fed actually said, we were wrong. We were wrong about all our assumptions on the tariffs. But it did cause tremendous volatility not very long ago. So when you want a hedge, and in my view, a hedge is something you want to sell. So if I'm going to spend a little money on a hedge, or I run a couple services, so I'm already sort of pre-hedged. But if I'm long some stocks, would I buy a couple VIX calls today? Yes. If I'm a little nervous. The PCE number is bad. Dump it, right? You get a spike in VIX, we're trading 23, 24, 25, sell your call. How much is that insurance cost? Like insurance is what it is. It can be very cheap right now. And these numbers are going up a little bit now, not a huge amount, but 21 and a half, 21 calls, $1.25. Very, very, very inexpensive hedge. Very inexpensive hedge. Into what is going to be a special situation? Why? Because special situations are events. Event is a special situation because the time element is broken. Traders stop time by increasing vol. And if something happens and it makes the stock price move much more than expected, you dump your protection, make your money on it, and then go look for other opportunities. And again, that's how I go along trading pretty much every day. Sell the stuff that makes money, go along and look for your next opportunity. So again, speaking of opportunities, so cheapest way to buy insurance, buy some VIX calls. Because even if nothing happens, you spend $1.25 on the calls and they might be down to 80, 85 cents if nothing happens. Because you still got 4 weeks to run till October VIX expiration. Very, very, very cheap insurance. Now, we're almost done. Hopefully, you learned something today. Expiration on the 21 calls, that is the October 22 cycle. October 22 cycle. Blue Dog saying, China news, I got a hot new chip. Alibaba's up 14 points. So, Mark is going to, again, this is all, if you want to understand special situations, how to make trades around special situations. When these events happen, Mark is going to highlight a special situation on Thursday tomorrow. He's going to go live and walk through his Russell play, his small cap play those stocks that will do better with lower interest rates. Because right now he was totally right on Russell. The broadcast is free. Sign up. It's up there on the top. Sign up. Get your seat. Seating is limited. Once we're full, you're out. Or you can just sign up for special situations right now. Again, a trade we had today just returned, wow, over 100%. I'm still holding the stock, didn't sell it. So if you're interested in learning how to trade, again, around these events, around volatility, around all of this stuff that happens in the market, check out Special Situations tomorrow with Mark and Hannah, who will explain everything that Mark is saying. All right. Free webinar. Seating is limited. It's 4:30 on Thursday. If you're not there, you're missing out because Special Situations has been a hot Hot because we wait till something cool is happening. It's 10:30. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully you learned something. I like it. Hannah is the Chief Interpretation Officer. Now, it's 10:30. I got to go. Click to the top and check it out. And I'm out. You guys have a good day.